Howdy friends, this is Lance, and I want to talk a little bit about an eLearning Hyperslides template that I built, and anyone can have access to it. I'm going to talk about how you can access it if you're a teacher in my district and if you're not. But anyway, the point is that I created this eLearning template because I wanted something to be quick and convenient, and not only that, but build quality as far as what activities you provide for students. It's very difficult to quickly build e-learning experiences. And so I'm hoping that this will help streamline some of that process. So that way, if you're in a jam and you need something quick, you can piece it together fairly efficiently. Okay, so if you're a teacher in my district, I'll have specific directions on how you can access this. But if you're not, you can visit bit.ly/elearntemp. When you put in that URL address, it'll take you right to the option to copy the slides. Okay, so if you're in my school district, you can go to New and Slides, and then from a template, and you'll see any templates that I've built and have made available for our school district. And then every time you click on the eLearning Hyperslides template, you get a brand new copy, and it puts it in your drive, and then you can organize it however you want. So upon arrival, what will happen is you'll see the themes right away. You don't need those because this is a theme itself. And then the other thing that you need to keep in mind is that it'll pop up right away with these 3 slides to get you going. There's much more to it than that, so don't worry. I have a lot available for you to pick and choose what you want. But anytime you see a blue box like this, what I'm really intending is that you take shapes and place it over it, or you can delete the slide itself. So I'll talk about that first. How do you get rid of these slides that you don't want? So to get rid of these slides that you don't want, you select the one that you don't want, hit backspace, or if you are not on a Chromebook, you actually do have a delete option, and then it removes it. That slide is not gone for good though. So if you ever need to see those directions again, you can click on this down arrow here, and you can actually pick from any of these templates that I have created, any of these layouts, I should say. And when I select those, it pops it back in, and any of these can be reordered. Okay, so deleting is easy. You pick one, hit backspace. Picking new ones, hit the drop down beside the plus, pick which one you want. Reordering is easy. So that way, when you're ready to deliver it to your students, you can drag it to the location that you want it to be in the order that you want it to be in. Simple enough? Next step I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about how you actually add some content to it. So I'll go ahead and get rid of this. And the very first slide will be your hello slide, and you can choose to use this if you want. It is nice to give some objectives to the students ahead of time so they know what to expect. So I'm going to actually be using this article from Wonderopolis, and the article is about what would Earth be like with no moon. So I'll put that information in on this slide. And then in this space, you'll see you can't actually click. So I'm going to put in a text box, and a text box is suitable because it is transparent all the way through. Okay, so I added some information for the students. If I wanted to change the font style or the size, you can do so by highlighting the text. If you want to add in links, you can easily add in links by highlighting text and then choosing the link icon. I'm going to grab this link from Wonderopolis, and then I'm going to paste it in like so. And I could even include one on Google Classroom. You could actually take the link directly to the assignment, or I could just put in a link for classroom.google.com. So that way they can get to it quickly. And then here they would put their name. This next slide just shows them if they see a yellow box, they're going to have some sort of question or direction. And if they see a green box, then they would actually just click in there and type. Just further instructions to help them better understand. If you need further directions and instructions, I do have an instructions for next slide. And then you as the teacher can add in your text box or any extra pictures, etc., that you want in here in order for them to know exactly what it is that they need to do. I don't need that slide right now, but I wanted to let you know that you could get much larger directions if you want. So this next part, I'm going to start adding in some content. So what if I want to do some video content to get them going first? And so there is a nice little video here. I'm going to copy the link straight from YouTube. And since it is from YouTube, it's nice because Google Slides does allow for YouTube integration. And I'm going to hit this drop down button. I can pick all these different templates, and I encourage you, once you get your template, to try any of these out. You can always remove them and reorder them. And in this case, I'm going to use a text response space, and I'm going to insert a video in this case. And since it's a YouTube video, I can put the video directly in and hit select, and it will insert the video content right here. So now that I have this video content in, I can resize it how I want, and it'll reside right there. If I want to be able to even adjust what the kids see or how much of the video I want them to watch, I can actually specify a start and stop time. That's located in the format options section. You have to have the video selected first. If you don't select it, you don't see format options. Okay, and this is in the video playback section, and you can start and stop whenever you want. Just an added feature for you to be able to essentially trim a YouTube video or a video that's in your Google Drive. I'm going to close that, and then I can add in a text box or a shape. I'm going to add in a text box because I don't care if it's transparent or not in this case. I'm going to cover up this space and put in a question for the students. And then they would be able to just type in this space. All right, I'm ready now for some text. Let's do some text options. So let's say that I want to do essentially the same slide, and I want them to put in some text. So if I highlight some text from the article itself and I copy it, I could simply just paste it in, but watch what happens. You'll still see that box in the background. So I don't want that. I also don't want to insert a text box because you can still see through it. So in this case, what would work best is if you actually use a shape. So I'm going to use a shape box here, and then I'm going to paste it in. And what that'll do is it'll cover it up much better than if I just use a text box. You can also change the color of the background if you want. And in this case, I will, because the background of the text is highlighted. You could change the text highlight color, or you could just change the background color of the box itself. So I'll go ahead and do that and just make it white. Now, what I do like about copying and pasting the text in directly, and then what happens is any of these links do function, and the students can get to them through these links. And not only that, but from Wonderopolis, they do a lot of vocabulary that's highlighted, and that's a nice feature too. So now that I have this text in, then I can further add some questions. And I'm going to go ahead and add another text box. So some other things that are kind of fun, that since I have some vocabulary here, I actually do have a vocabulary squares response. So I'm going to use ratio, and I'll add in a vocabulary square. And then the students can create their own sentence, they can find the definition, and they can try and find an image that represents the word. Okay, so those are some options that you can do. And then if you're wanting to continue adding more content, you can. So I'll go ahead and do another text response. And what I'm going to do this time is show you can also do screenshots. Now, screenshots have a disadvantage, and it really depends on text. I would probably just copy and paste the text, but if you have graphics, etc., then a screenshot works well. But for demonstration purposes, I'll go ahead and do a screenshot. So on a Chromebook, you hold down Control, Shift, and you press the window button, which is the button above the 6, and it gives you a crosshairs, and then you're able to drag around the items that you want to screenshot. When I do that, then I'm going to hit Copy to Clipboard, and I'm going to paste it in, and then I'm able to move it around as I wish. Now, as you can tell, you have a disadvantage here. You're really limited to resizing by resizing the picture itself. Okay, so that's in, and the other issue is that screen readers don't work on this. All right, so in this case, I'll go ahead and add in another text box, like so. And then if I'm wanting to add some more creative activities, what I can do is I can throw in a caption this. You could have a caption of an animal that might be impacted by the change in tide. So, for example, all right, and so that's kind of a fun creative caption. Another fun option is if you have a variety of resources that you want the students to access, you could let them choose what kind of resources they want to select by adding in a tic-tac-toe resource board. And you could simply just put in some pictures of various objects. So for example, if we were to talk about, okay, various animals that might be impacted by the moon. And so you could do some additional study on those, like so. You could add in a different resource here and there. So if I wanted to add in a link directly about how crabs might be impacted by the moon. All right, and so I'm going to go ahead and grab this BBC article here, and I'm going to copy it like so. And if I want to link this crab here, I can click on the picture, hit the link icon, and paste it in. Now, I could put in multiple resources across the board that they could select. Another fun resource that you can add in there, if you're not wanting to use a tic-tac-toe board but want to add just a few links, you could potentially just add in a blank slide. I do have a blank one there for you to utilize and use for whatever purpose you want. And then if I put in this website option, then students could put in what resource they accessed, how they would rank the resource, and why they would rank it that way. So that's kind of a neat functionality as far as them thinking about what the resource was and whether it was of quality. Or you can even use this if they're finding their own resources. You could give the instructions like so. If you're dealing with older students, you could say something to this effect. And then you could add in 3 of these, so that way the students are able to rank the 3 different websites and give some feedback of what they think. Okay, so some other tools and resources that are on here that you are capable of using. I do have a 2-person caption this. I have a connections one, that something that happened in the text might remind you of something and something else. That's a little more related to fictional text. And then some other options are a T-chart, and some other resources that I have on here are a Venn diagram. And there's a creative slide where students could create a collage or a poster or an advertisement, or you could have them respond however you want, but then you put in the directions directly in this yellow space up here, so that way students know exactly what it is that you want them to do. I also have available for you a space where students can give a reflection. So that way, if you wanted an extended response, again, you would put in the yellow space some directions as far as how you want them to respond, and then they would be able to type in this space. And you're welcome to check out any of these and use them however you want. The last thing that I included was the Turnitin Google Classroom sign here. And this one was inspired by one of my teachers. She adds this in because students frequently forget to actually push the turn in option on their assignments. And so I want to make sure that I include that as well. So I hope you find that this template would be helpful for you in creating learning experiences for the students. I want it to be convenient for you. I want it to be convenient for the students. And I also want it to be interactive in the sense that students are doing various things with the content and at the same time allow you to be able to do so extremely quickly.